Alrighty, I'm gonna make some caramel. In this pot we have 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water. I'm just trying to bring it to the boil. Caramel is just more or less burnt sugar with butter and milk. I'm going to use whole milk this time instead of cream though. And it's going to take a few minutes for this to boil, so I'm going to pause it for now and then I'll come back once this is boiling and starting to change colors. Alright, as this comes to a boil, it's going to rise up quite a bit in the pot, so you'll probably want to keep an eye on it. You should never really leave anything on the stove unattended anyway, especially not this kind of stuff though. It might rise up quite a bit, and it definitely will once we put the milk and that in it once it's done. But this is going to cook probably 7 or 8 minutes until it gets to like a nice golden brown. I like my caramel a little darker, more like an amber brown. You don't want to burn it though, so you gotta watch it once it starts turning color. But we'll come back to that once it's at that point. A few minutes. You'll know when it's getting closer because it's going to slow down in the boiling. Right now it's more or less cooking the sugar, but where there's a cup of water in there, it's also evaporating the water. So this way it allows the sugar to cook without really burning, but it takes a little longer. You can do this without the water. You can just pour the sugar directly into the pot and then slowly heat the sugar until it melts. But that's more susceptible to getting burnt. So this way takes a little bit longer, however, less likely to burn it because you're going to be standing here probably fucking 20 minutes or so waiting for it to do its thing. But anyway, it's still doing its thing. I don't know if you can tell, but it is starting to get a little bit on the yellowy color. But it's still got quite a bit to go yet, so I'm going to put it on pause and we'll come back in a little bit. Well, still boiling away. It's been another 5 minutes since the last time. It's still boiling quite hard, so there's still quite a bit of water in that. So we'll be just standing here for a little bit longer. I'm thinking it's getting closer. I can tell it's getting thicker. You can hear the bubbles. They get a little more denser. It's kind of hard to explain until you're cooking it and listening to it, but you can tell it's actually getting thicker by the sound of it, so it shouldn't be too much longer, but we'll be back again when it starts going a little more darker. Well, still bubbling away, but you can tell it's getting a lot quieter. That means it's getting thicker. There's less water in it, so it's not going to be too much longer before it's going to be ready for the next stage, which is kind of fun because we get to pour semi-warm milk into, I don't know, 200-degree boiling sugar. So that always is exciting. But anyway, this has been about 15 minutes or so real time. It's going to be at about another 5 or so, so I'll put you on pause again until then, and I'll be back. Alrighty, now, it's only been a couple more minutes since the last time, but you can see it's slowing down quite a bit for the bubbling. So now it's getting to the stage where the sugar itself is actually cooking. So what you're going to want to do now is just keep an eye on it. You're going to want to keep close to it because you want to more or less smell it to see as the sugar's cooking. You'll know because you can smell that sugar, burnt sugar kind of smell, but you don't want it burnt, so you want to have that just, well, smell of cooked sugar. But anyway, it's almost ready for the next stage. You can see it is getting golden-y color. I'm going to let it go for a few more minutes just to darken it up some, because I do prefer mine a little more on the darker side. Now in this here, I have just 1 cup of milk. It's the 3 and 3.25%. but because it's just milk and not cream, normally the sauce would be quite a bit thinner. And where this is going on a cake, I need it a little bit thicker, so I added 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and there's also 2 teaspoons of vanilla in it. I warmed it up in the microwave for like a minute or so, just to help without, extra cold hitting the sugar. But see, you can tell the sugar is getting quite dark now. So I think we're ready for our next stage, so I'm going to shut this heat off, and you can smell the cooked sugar. It smells almost like a marshmallow, when you're roasting marshmallows out on the campfire. So anyway, let's get this broke down off the side there, because we really don't want the crystals up there. Okay, and right here I just got I don't know, that much salt. That's going in there. If you want a true salted caramel, you could add probably a teaspoon or so, and then go from there. Just judge it once you've gotten the amount you want. I'm just trying to get this stuff off the side, so I'm going to put you down for a second and I'll be back. Alrighty, here we go. See, now look, this is already kind of caramelly color. So now you got to be very careful with this. Remember, this is frickin' super hot, so pour it really slow. And you want to pour some in, let it do its thing. Move it from the heat, because she's gonna blow. Keep it in the pot, keep it in the pot. Oh yeah. Again, go slow. Now that's gonna cook in. Even when that caramel don't seem hot, she's hot. Pour a little bit more of the cold, or well, it's warm milk, but warm is nothing compared to this. The heat on this is unreal. Taller the pot, the better. Even a nice tall wide pot, so you have like several inches, like 5, 6, 7 inches above where the sugar is probably your best bet. Alright, now we still got quite a bit of butter to add to, or milk to add to this, so we'll slowly add the rest of the milk. See if we can get it to slowly incorporate. Try not to get it to foam up too much. This is the boring part. Well, definitely not boring for the first few minutes, but there. Now we'll get the rest out of the bottom. Put you over there for a minute. I think I might have messed that up there. I think I shut it off the last video. But we're back. So, now we got this all mixed in together. Now, 2 tablespoons of butter, which I already cut from the little block. Dump that in there. That kind of gives it that nice shine and nice flavor to it at the end. Now it's going to seem quite runny for a few minutes until it thickens. Once it cools, it will thicken. And there you go, you'll have caramel sauce. Now, I'll pour it into a mason jar and hope I don't make a mess everywhere, which will suck if I do, but, you know, it happens. Ta-da!